have put aside weak growth, weak inflation and political turmoil, and they've pressed the button on tightening rates. Do you think now is the right time?
Well, they made a convincing argument for why the second rate hike in only 10 years was justified, and I think it was perfectly sensible. Essentially here we have to remember there's a lot of moving parts, as you've alluded to, and there may have been a temptation as well, in part, to store up some ammunition to deal with the potential consequences of what Brexit may throw at the pound over the next few months. A few other factors that were driving sterling. In fact, it was quite merciless price action. If you look at it, who would want to have been trading the pound last night? I suppose the first reaction was that sterling was bought on the back of the announcement, and you can see why there was a unanimous decision. But over the course of the evening, sterling gave back those gains and moved in the opposite direction. I think part of the reason for that is people realise that 3 of those 9 policymakers will have left the bank before the next major policy decision in November. Yes, there were some inflation upgrades, but pretty small in the grand scheme of things. And as you said, and as you alluded to, the Brexit story is now front and centre. There's no further good news to look forward to, and the next 2 months in particular could see us count down to some kind of a domestic UK political crisis. Okay, very important to watch. Even though you say there's no good news to look forward to, you're still sounding very constructive on the outlook for the pound. On a 9-month view, you say we could see some appreciation, correct? Oh, very true, yes. And we're probably in the minority out there in having a constructive view on sterling. And certainly after the raucous scenes in Parliament over the last few weeks, many have assumed that the risk of a no-deal Brexit has now massively increased. We don't see it that way at all. We think the probability of a no-deal outcome is vanishingly small. There are many other possibilities, all of which should in large part preserve the UK's existing trade arrangements with the EU for many years to come.
So where do you see sterling at the end of that 9 months?
This may sound a little aggressive, but we think euro sterling could be down to 82 cents. So that's effectively an 8 to 9% appreciation of sterling against the euro. Now, the US dollar call is a little bit more tricky. That means cable is a trickier call, but we too see scope for appreciation even against the US dollar, despite the Fed's tightening trajectory.